Hi, welcome to summer and welcome to Riverside Monthly with Mayor Bailey. I'm Steve Brazel. This is your co-host, Rusty Bailey, the mayor of Riverside.
How are you, sir? And I'm having a good day.
We got great episodes. Yeah, well, thank you so much.
We've got some great episodes. We've got some very diverse, individuals, but also groups that are in the city, and we're going to show them and interview them on our show. This first one is the Model Deaf Community Committee 20th anniversary, the Deaf Festival in September.
Yep, September 21st. And by the way, with that episode, we have a bonus episode for you, too.
Check it out.
We have another episode, University Eastside Community Collaborative. They are celebrating their 25th anniversary.
Quarter century, doing
great
good work
program
in our city, bridging.
Yep. We got a great guest on for that one.
Bridging the Eastside community with UCR. And then we have a really special guest, really special person, Joy Washington, who has graduated from the Riverside at Work program that the city puts on for our neighbors without homes.
And I have to say, at the time we're recording this part, we've already filmed that one, and it is just an absolutely inspiring episode.
Yeah,
so great month all around.
You got to see it.
Where can people reach you?
You know, they can reach me on Twitter and Instagram at Mayor_Bailey.
_Bailey, okay.
_Bailey.
And on Facebook.
Facebook at City Riverside Mayor.
City of Riverside
Check
Mayor.
it out.
So, again, great episodes this month. It's
Like
Riverside Monthly with Mayor Bailey. Join us for each show. We'll see you on
Are you my
those.
friend?
Have a good day. This segment, we're going to talk about the Model Deaf Community Committee. They are celebrating their 20th anniversary.
That's right.
We have two guests with us today. We have Mr. Mike Anderson from the Model Deaf Community Committee. The Mike Anderson. And our interpreter, so that you know, is John Cogswell. He's with Rise Interpreting. John, welcome to you as well. And,
Hello.
And Mike, welcome to you.
Mike
Mayor,
says
you
hello.
want to get us started?
Yeah. You know, the Model Deaf Community Committee has been an awesome resource for deaf residents for 20 years now. And we're going to talk more about a celebration for that 20-year anniversary. But how did it get started? Can you tell us, Mike, how it got started?
It was about 20 years ago, and it was the year 1998, and the mayor at that time was Mayor Loveridge, and there was a Seymour Bernstein, Bummy Burstein, and Lisa Price. Them four got together and they had a discussion about what were the needs of the deaf people in Riverside, the deaf population, and so they had discussed and they implemented a process to see and feel and be aware of the deaf community. That was the whole point of the discussion, and that's how the Model Deaf Community started, and it's been 20 years since.
But I think it's important, that the role of the mayor fits in here of looking around the city, seeing what the assets are in our community, and then bringing them, into the public eye and saying, look at this. This is a great resource. We need to embrace this, and it's part of our diverse and inclusive, values in our city.
Yeah, and when you speak of diversity, I don't think a lot of people realize as you drive down Arlington and you see CSDR on Arlington Avenue, I don't think I even realized CSDR has been there since 1953, and
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but Riverside has one of the largest deaf populations in Southern California, right?
Well, demographically, if we're talking about Los Angeles, that is actually the largest population. But through sub-cities throughout Southern California, we are the largest deaf population in Southern California.
And I'm guessing CSDR is part of that. Part of the reason for that.
Yes, correct. Right, Steve. Yes, that is correct. CSDR is basically a hub, and there's a lot of deaf people that work there, that live there. They go to school there. Students move in, and they attend school there, and so that has grown the population of the deaf community.
There's only two deaf schools in California. North has Fremont, South has Riverside.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we're blessed to have, this great asset in our city. And boy, we got to get out there and take a tour, because I know that they've done some incredible investments recently I want to go back to school at CSDR. I think man, they got an awesome pool and a new gym and the vocational education there. They're the best auto shop in town. The newest auto shop, of course, with the best technology. But last time I took a tour, I wanted to go back to high school at CSDR. What are some of the issues facing deaf people in society, Mike, and how can the city help? How is the city helping, and then how can we help even more?
I wanted to thank the model deaf community because the deaf population in Riverside, when they have some concerns or they want to improve, like who to contact, and we can directly we have direct communication with the mayor's office, which is really nice. And for example, we have a few accomplishments like the police cars. If you get pulled over by the police or they're visiting and how to communicate with a deaf person, and we're hoping to set up a VRI system, a video remote interpreting type of service, and they can interpret right at that instant, expeditiously, immediately. They can interpret, and the police officer can communicate with the deaf. And I spoke with the district, and we're concerned there's no ASL classes in the high schools. And so that was one of the issues that we decided to investigate, and we hired 2 ASL teachers, and because it is such a large population in Riverside and a lot of signers and a lot of people that sign, and RUSD didn't have that, and so that was another accomplishment that we had. And so just the way that you can help the city of Riverside is basically going through the model deaf community.
My daughter Julia is looking forward to taking ASL in high school in a couple of years.
See, and I was going to say, I actually think ASL, American Sign Language lessons in high school would be good. I remember years and years ago, I took an ASL class at RCC and found it rewarding and fascinating. And the reason I did it was because, I don't know if you remember the old restaurant El Gato Gordo. I was a waiter, and a large part of the deaf community came to dine at the restaurant, and it helped a lot waiting on them. Just knowing a little bit of sign language was a benefit. I am kind of curious. And by the way, happy 20th anniversary. I do got to say that.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
The accomplishments that the committee has done, there's probably too many to get into. One of them, I know, Deaf Festival is happening in September.
Yeah, here we go.
Can you kind of give us an idea of what you've done, what events are planned like Deaf Festival?
Well, Deaf Festival it always happens once a year. It's an annual event, and that is Model Deaf Community's biggest role and biggest event, awareness situational. Like, we talk about ASL in high school and the inside of the colleges and what, communicating in the workplaces and just starting that dialogue. Like, like you said, Steve, being a waiter and signing at the restaurant. And so
which improved my tips. Yeah, a lot.
That's a good idea. And so, for example, this September 21st is going to be our biggest event, the Deaf Festival. And it's really, we want to use the Riverside Conference Center, and it's really big. And we did I said Riverside Conference Center. I meant the Riverside Convention Center.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
so, the Riverside Convention Center. And so we signed up and they actually have a Deaf Nation there. And it's really a pleasure to have that event, and they do booths there, and it's a whole day event, and it's really fun. And you can sign up for Route 66 enjoyment night, and they have that's something that I really look forward to. And every year we always have like a downtown street festival, and that the 20th anniversary, I want it at the Riverside Convention Center, and everybody's welcome to come.
Sounds good.
So what one thing would you want people to know about the deaf community?
That's a good question. Things that the average speaking community may not know.
Well, if you see deaf people, we are equal. The only thing that we can't do is hear. We're deaf, and so it'd be nice, for other people to learn how to sign as well. And I believe that here in Riverside, if you can see on any of the corners of the streets, or you can see people signing, that'd be really great. And So, and even across the nation, that would be nice. And, with MDC, we have a connection with the mayor, and that's not something you see nationwide. And that's something really, really nice.
How do you say hello to a deaf person?
Hello, just like that.
Yeah.
You just give them a wave.
And really, it's like any other
I know,
language.
you know some basic sign,
Well,
too,
we got
Mr.
to
Mayor.
teach people.
Yeah,
watching.
we got to teach people. It's like anywhere you travel. If you travel overseas, the old saying is, as long as you try to communicate and speak their language, there immediately is a rapport. And that's kind of the same thing. If you see somebody signing on the street, try and communicate with them. Learn how to say, hi, how are you, or something. Goes a long, long way. I am curious, Mike, where can people go, not only the committee, but in general, where can people go for more information?
We have a website. There's a link there, and Facebook, and we use the City of Riverside's pages as well for to try to get our information out. And
Mayor's office. Call 311.
311. One call does it all. And I actually
Find out about Deaf Festival.
I actually have the accounts. Facebook, it's Model Deaf Community. And then the website is riversideca.gov/mayor2/deaf.asp. So you can always just Google Model Deaf Community, and that will get you where you need to go, or 311.
Let me show you how to clap for Mike and ASL.
Well done. And
Well done,
John,
Mike.
too.
Well, we got to give John some.
Yeah,
some-
we got to
some
give
love.
John some love, too.
All right.
Again, and this is going to be such a great month now that we're into the summer months here in Southern California and in Riverside. I want to thank my guests this time around. We've got Mike Anderson with the Model Deaf Community Committee. Mike, thank you so much for stopping by. And he's signing, so
My pleasure. My pleasure.
he already knows I was going to talk about him. John Cogswell with Rise Interpreting. If you need an interpreter, great place to go. This time around, we're going to talk to somebody about the 25th anniversary of the University Eastside Community Collaborative. We've got a program manager from the group here with us, Cesar Oyervidas Cisneros. Did I get close?
You did it really well.
Yeah, I don't say it as good as you do, sir.
Congratulations.
We've got lots to talk about with you this morning.
The UECC is a partnership. And it's been going on for 25 years, as you mentioned. Quarter century. That's a solid effort right
It's
there.
older than I am.
A lot of people touched by this program, and it's because of the partnership between the city, the university, UC Riverside, the school district, Riverside Unified School District. And so we're really proud of that. You want to tell us a little bit more about how the partnership got started?
Sure. So as you mentioned, the partnership is between UC Riverside, City of Riverside, and Riverside Unified School District. I know that in the 90s, it was a really tough time. And so a child was killed during that time, and that really catalyzed the need to address the needs of the community, and also how do we become more engaged as university students. And so we tapped into the AmeriCorps resources, and this is what created the core to get college students to serve in the Eastside community.
That's right.
And then not only will they be providing academic services, tutoring, and support, but also being there as role models and create that pathway to
A
university.
bridge. That's right.
UECC recruits something like 80 college students a year to become AmeriCorps members.
Yes.
Tutoring, youth and mentoring youth at schools in and around the city of Riverside, community centers around the city of Riverside. I'm kind of curious how that mentoring program and that tutoring program helps those students with math and language arts.
Correct. So traditionally, we did enroll 80 college students. Now we have increased it to 85 college students.
Okay.
What the design of the program essentially is, these 85 college students are assigned 10 students for the academic year.
So each get 10 students?
That's correct.
Okay.
They get 10 students, and then those 10 students are strategically just below grade level, and so with additional support in math and in English specifically, they will become grade level. That's the theory, and that's been our impact.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah,
I mean,
it can make a difference in a kid's life is really what it comes
yeah.
down to.
And just the fact that they're seeing and being able to connect to a college student, that's not typical for students in our schools to be able to have that access.
That's actually, Mr. Mayor, a really good point, because they not only do they get the tutoring and mentoring, but they see college students and can then put a face on it to their future, which is interesting.
Right. And so how important is that role model, that mentoring aspect to the program? How much do you train them on that?
Yes. So they're developing this relationship. That's what really helps make the tutoring more
Yeah,
effective.
relationships.
To build that trust with an adult figure. And some of them need that extra support, that extra attention. But then our members, they might be the first college student they encounter from their families,
That's right.
perhaps. And so they recognize that not only do I need to provide this support, right, that's the mission, but also maybe share about their own journey, how college became a reality for them, or also maybe exploring careers. Some of our members actually, that's how they use this program, to explore their own career interests. They have an interest in education, but do they want to become teachers? Do they want to become administrators? Or perhaps they want to go into law with a focus on education,
Right.
or maybe in public health.
Yeah.
Those are some of the stories that some of our members share. As this-
Mutually beneficial relationship.
Right.
going
Mutually,
on there.
yes.
Yeah.
You know, with almost roughly 1,000 students probably being mentored and tutored each and every year based on your 85 and 10 each, I'm curious about the impact of that, you know, overall, because like we're talking about, it's not just the impact of the math and language arts tutoring, it's the mentoring, but it's also those kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, the intangibles. Just the fact that they see and interact with a college student, and I'm guessing in some cases, they may be the first person in their family that may have a chance to go to college. So what's the overall impact?
Yeah, so the 850 students, the 85 times 10, is just the elementary schools. We also have students, members helping students in after-school programs at the community centers, and that's how we get the over 1,000
Okay.
figure. And so there's several things that are happening. One, we want to make sure that we are creating these safe environments for them. So after school, their parents might be still at work. So here they could continue their education, their learning, but then also other developmental activities that boost their confidence, that boost their comfort. And that'll hopefully translate to more engagement in schools as well. And developing those social and emotional skills and cognitive skills will translate to gains academically in other areas too. And also prepare them for the rigors of high school and then eventually college.
And the emotional skills, I think, is probably
Yeah.
one that I don't
Yeah.
think probably even gets touched on enough. That's a key to them moving forward, right?
Yeah, somebody cares about them enough
Right.
to spend some extra time with them and work with them, you know, through some of their, you know, difficulties in school. Yeah, it is.
If I could share the story, actually.
Yeah, tell us the story.
So, well, we train our members to prepare for this experience. It is a year-long experience, and they're full-time college students. So that is also demanding on their schedule. So, but I tell them, the students, they're going to transform your life, just that experience. But in addition, they're going to be expecting consistency from you. So if you say, oh, I'll be here from Wednesdays 10 to 12, and you're not there on a certain Wednesday, they're going to ask, what happened to you? You know, I was waiting for you. And so when that moment of realization comes forward, I think it helps our college students to mature.
Yeah.
And then they recognize, oh, this is a commitment, not just with the program, but with the students themselves, and really transformative experience for them.
It's changing
Relationships
both
matter.
sides of the equation, really.
Relationships matter.
Yeah.
How? Where can people go for more information about
Sure.
the program?
So we actually are actively recruiting, and you can visit us at uecc.ucr.edu if you're interested in learning about the program.
Join AmeriCorps.
or
Join the team.
AmeriCorps, yes.
Yeah.
UCC.
University Eastside Community Collaborative. Cesar, thank you so much for
Thanks so
joining
much
us.
for
Really
the
appreciate it.
invitation.
And this episode, we have this young lady sitting next to me. It's Joy Washington. She's a graduate of the Riverside at Work program. So we want to kind of get into what the Riverside at Work program is and the benefits of it, et
She's
cetera.
also a graduate of John W. North High School.
John W. North High School, born and raised in Riverside.
and UCR, and she's a Highlander, which I married up. I married a Highlander, but I also went to Pauley High School. So this proves the benevolence of your mayor.
It proves that
that I
Pauley
can
and North
sit-
can get along.
Yes, right here,
Right
in
here.
the studio. How did you find out about the Riverside at Work program, Joy?
Well, I found it out through Miss Lachey West. My sister and I, unfortunately, were homeless for 6 months. And we had just moved into our apartment. And she wanted to know if I'd be interested in trying the program. Now, I had been offered a job that was paying like almost $30 an hour, but something told me that it wasn't right for me. So I told my sister, I said, I can't take that job. It's not for me. I said, so I'm just going to wait because something's better for me. So I kid you not, my sister looked at me like I was crazy. And I called the lady and I told her, I said, I can't do it. and I told her why, and she tried to convince me, but I just couldn't do it. So I kid you not, I hung the phone up. Maybe like an hour later, Miss Lachey calls me and she says, "Have you found a job yet?" I said, "I just turned one down." And she says, "Well, I have a program that I think you may be interested in. It's called the RAW program." And so I said, "Well, let's do it. I want to try it." So it just went from there. I went for the interview. I ended up at the City of Riverside and Human Resources, great bunch of ladies and gentlemen. And 8 months later, then I go for workforce development as a career service specialist, helping out the very people that I once was.
You know,
How great is that?
Serendipity.
as she's telling the story, I'm literally getting goosebumps because there's something really, there's two interesting things. One, your sister will almost always look at you like you're crazy. I think we can all relate to that. But not only that, you knew in your mind and heart who you are.
Yes.
And you knew what was right for you, and you knew, even though other people may not agree, you knew, this just isn't the one. And that's kind of an interesting intuition that you have. Going from working in HR, which was, back in 2018, and now doing the benefited job, the career service specialist. Tell us a little bit about how that journey actually worked and what your job actually is now.
Okay, what happened is I learned so much from human resources. It was always dealing with all kind of wonderful people, just a lot of different skill sets that, that helped me as I interviewed for the position that I have now. So Miss Lachey saw the position and she says, "Joy, I think this is for you. You love helping people. I mean, you're good at doing it. So get your resume ready and let's work on it. And then I'm going to get you in there so you can at least get an interview." So I'm like, "Well, when is the interview? When are they going to start?" She's like, "It's going to be like 2 days." I'm like, so I do it, it works. I go there and I'm supposed to be there 2 hours, leave. And if they like me, I come back. Well, they kept me there 5 hours.
Sign number
Whoa.
one.
5 hours. So
Hopefully they paid you for that.
I'm like, "Can I leave now?" No, you gotta stay. So eventually, 3:30, I'll never forget this. They told me I could go. And I'm thinking, well, I think I did pretty good. So 2 days later, I'm going to pick my sister up for a doctor's appointment. And they call me and they said, "We want to offer you the position." And I'm glad that I had already parked. I'm like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yes, we really want you to come on." So I accepted the position.
Man.
And then you looked
Amen
at
to
your
that.
sister and went, "That's how it's done."
Check. So you work with veterans, you work with the homeless, people with disabilities, underemployed, chronically unemployed. How does your journey, how does that inform your actions and inform your response to, a vulnerable population?
Because I'm one of them, I'm driven. I just had a young man, I kid you not, that was on the verge of being homeless. His lease was to expire in May, and he told me this. I knew something was wrong because he was like really withdrawn when I first had my appointment with him. And immediately I called Miss West again. I'm like, "I need your help with this one. He's about to be homeless. We can help this guy." So she sets him up so that he can, get help with his rent and get into low-income housing. So when that happens for him, he's like, "Miss Joy, I'm getting the help. I'm going to get low-income housing." And he was so happy. So that happened. And then
Changing
we
lives.
kept working with his resume, kept working. I kept telling him, "Please don't give up." So there's this opportunity that I saw, and I emailed it to him. I said, "Please put in right now because your resume is ready." So he puts in for the job. They call him for an interview. I do a mock interview with him. He called me yesterday. He got the job.
Nice.
Full-time benefited job.
I mean,
I'm
that's-
not kidding, by the way.
That's what it's all about.
Yes.
Right there. That's what being a bridge will do, and just that inspiration that Joy gave. I mean, what if she wouldn't have interacted with him?
And see, that's the thing. Sometimes it really is the people you meet on the road, and your understated kind of passion, right? You're not screaming from the mountaintops. You're just there, and I'm ready to do the work. And putting that to help other people is kind of infectious. I'm not going to lie. And you're not done. You've been accepted into the urban planning program at Stanford,
Hey now.
which, by the way, congratulations. And I'm kind of curious because going from what you're doing now, urban planning, when I heard that kind of surprised me. What are your long-term goals?
Well, actually, something else happened in between that. So I'm going to put Stanford off for maybe a year or two because I'm a writer and I've been working on this book for 2 years about the homeless journey for me and all the ladies that I encountered, and it's called Sisterhood. So it's been a 1.5 to 2 year journey, and finally I got it accepted by a major publisher who wants to put it out in 2021, and they're going
Come on now.
They're going to make a movie from it.
Come on.
So I'm gonna.
Come
that's
on.
my
From right
journey.
here in Riverside.
Okay, so can you sign something for me? Yeah. Absolutely. I am so happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just,
Thank you.
And I'm telling you, your personality and your obvious caring for people is just infectious. It just really is.
Here we go. North Huskies. I was denied.
what do you have to
Stanford.
show?
I was denied Stanford, not once but twice. And the North Huskies are getting into Stanford.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
She's going to hold that over you for a long,
Look at that,
long
Joy.
time.
Look at that. Look at that. So
Well, we have the greatest mayor ever.
come on.
Well
Come
played.
on. Come on. God is good. What do people need to know about the homeless that they are not thinking about?
All of us are different. You can't see us and stereotype us as lazy, drugs, mentally ill. I mean, that happens. But look at me. I was not any of those. I lost my sister to cancer. We lost our house. Everything just fell from under us and we became homeless. So I know what that is to be stereotyped and to be looked at differently. And so when I get these people, they come into my office, they want help, I will fight for them. I am their advocate. I will not stop until I get them into housing, and I will not stop until I get them the right opportunities because they're God's children. And all of us belong somewhere. And they have talents and skills. You will be surprised of these people who have talents and skills that just go undone. So please don't judge them. Please do not judge them because you see them in tents and they may look dirty and all that. They have skills. They have hearts. They have
right.
talents.
Well,
So I just want people to know that.
thank you for everything you do.
right.
Where can people go if they want more information?
First place I would suggest is to talk to the people in Housing Solutions.
Yeah, 311.
311.
311.
Homeless Solutions.
Okay. And then you can also go to riversideca.gov/homeless solutions. That does it as well. Joy, thank you so much for coming by.
You're so very welcome.
I can't wait to see the book and the movie.
Sisterhood,
And
man.
say, I kind of know her. Yeah.
Sisterhood.
That
I
is
love it.
awesome. And
I'm going to come
I mean,
visit at Stanford.
even though
I didn't get
even
in.
though it was from North. I mean, we'll give you that. Mr. Mayor, to Poly people, thank you so much for stopping by. Always good to see you, sir. To everybody, it's summertime in Southern California.
Get
And
out.
in Riverside,
Enjoy
we've got
it.
some great sessions for you this month on Riverside Monthly. I'm Steve Brazel. We will see you on the next show.